through spring, I thought it might be worthwhile to do a little lawn update, since it's been a little while since the winter post. I'll start on the good bit and go from there, I guess. So we're recovering. There are some good parts and there are some not good parts, but in general we're growing, we're green, and we're more or less weed free. Let's see, it's about mid-November right now. I'm not seeing the massive growth that we get sort of when it's really going gangbusters, sort of a little bit further into summer, but as I say, it's growing. I'm mowing once a week at the moment. Could probably do with an extra mow just for the benefit of the lawn, I suppose, but once a week is sort of what I can manage at the moment between other commitments, and it doesn't seem to be growing that fast, as I said anyway, so it's kind of just enough to take the seed heads off the top, tidy up a little bit, and just sort of promote some of that lateral growth, ideally. So it's been, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks since we were aerated. The retic had a few problems last week with one of the solenoids, so I'm not sure how well that was actually working over the last sort of month or two, once we started watering again. So that's fixed now. I've been doing a bit of hand watering this week, which I'm trying to avoid this summer, but it seems like the grass has already responded to that. I know that's ridiculous, it hasn't, but it feels like it has. So good on you, mate. Put down a mixture of Ecoprime Red and Ecoprime Emerald, I think it is, the green, about maybe 3 weeks ago. And some of these patches that aren't really thriving at the moment, I gave them another little bit of Ecoprime Red, just to give them a bit of a boost yesterday. Water that in, of course. It's a slow release fertilizer, but I like to give it a drink anyway. So this is this side of the house. This is the south side where we really struggle, where the lawn really struggles through winter with the shade. You can probably see there's still a bit of sort of like mossy stuff, and then it's definitely patchy through here. We had quite a lot of summer grass growing up through here last year, and I didn't really know what it was, so I didn't want to kill it off because it sort of filled in the dirt patches. Be keeping on top of that this year, but in the meantime we've got some big ugly brown patches to deal with, which unfortunately is sort of right where we step off the deck, and little swingies and stuff, so there's sort of some high traffic areas. I'm also seeing, let's see if I can find one, a few of these little weeds popping up, so I could probably do with a bit of a weed kill for that, but I don't want to knock the grass back too much, so I'm just trying to pull them up by hand as I see them. Yeah, that's one of the benefits of being out here hand watering, is that gives you lots of opportunity to come across these things and just sort of deal with it on the spot right there and then. Try and pull up the root, obviously. A few other sort of broadleafy type weeds to deal with by and by, but I think the extra hit of water sort of promoted that growth, so hopefully whatever's in the soil will germinate and then go away with the heat and without too much weed killer. Let's see, this was our Kikuyu patch over here the last couple of years, so still working to eradicate it. It may never go away, but whenever I find a little bit popping up, gets hit with the glycophosphate with the paintbrush, just paint it on, and in combination with the tribute, I think it is, which I've applied, and I'll probably do for another application actually, It seems to be keeping it at bay. It definitely sort of grows vertically compared to the zoysia, so it's pretty easy to spot now that I know exactly what it is and how invasive it can be, and get rid of it. Speaking of other species, I'm not sure what this is over here. It looks kind of like a cooch. It may be some of the old Velvetene lawn that we had down previously. I didn't glycophosphate the whole area because of the grapevines, especially in this spot right here. So it's possible there's a little bit of that taking over. Again, I try to, if I see the little bits popping up, I try to kill it with the glycophosphate, but this is a big patch here. I'm not quite sure what to do with it. There's a bit of zoysia through it as well, so ideally the zoysia would outcompete, but that's probably not going to happen. A little bit of a struggle around the borders here, around the edge. We're not doing too badly back at the back here. It gets a bit of sun out here, not as much water as it maybe could. And then there's the lemon tree, which tends to suck nutrients from the soil right here, and plus there's a bit of shade. But that'll come good. My next biggest job, I guess, will be to get some top dress in here. This lawn was never top dressed after I laid it, and with the cylinder mower coming up, it's pretty lumpy and bumpy, and I'm going to end up sort of with some scalping going on if I don't address some of these low spots. Plus this area here with the shade from the tree and the southern side of the house just always has been a bit low and scraggly, so I think some top dress is going to just help this section in particular to thrive a little bit, especially in combination with the aeration. I can't speak highly enough of the aeration process. It's I think it's one of the best things that we've done for this lawn so far. The bit of scalping that I did at the end of last summer, it was pretty tragic in terms of the timing, but I think we've recovered from that, and I think it's going to also have benefited the lawn this year. So my plan is once this lawn's had a good season to really grow and get some good root growth going on, then we'll think about renovations maybe next spring. One last point, this little brown patch here. I'm not sure why it's brown. It's this is previously one of the thatchier areas of the lawn, so it could just be a bit of thatch in there. Could also be that I've only got the 2 sprinklers in either corner there, and this patch just doesn't really seem to get much water, plus the sun really catches it here, so a little bit of a sad spot as well, but nothing compared to the horrible tracks over here. But I know it can get there. This little patch did fairly well in the end last summer. Not so much back there, but it'll get there. And this bit sort of struggled last year as well. It's doing not too badly right now, considering we've still got some tree overhang and stuff like that, some shade. Ideally, I'd really like to get this bit back, just to know that I've sort of conquered the Kikuyu and have that little battle behind me. And we'll deal with the cooch, I guess. But baby steps. My thinking is it's going to probably take, I don't know, at least a good season, if not 2, to get this lawn back on track. I'm going to keep the water up to it, but encourage the root growth, so not too much hand watering, and only watering on my watering days, twice a week. Keep the fertiliser up to it, keep going with the Ferrous Sulphate and the soil conditioners. And once growing season really kicks in, usually I end up having to mow twice a week anyway, but if it will let me, I'll try and mow a little bit more regularly. I'm not going to go too low this summer, but I definitely want to keep the mowing up, just to keep the lawn happy. And I'll be mowing with Rotary at the moment, but with a nice sharp blade on my cylinder once it's back together. And hopefully that's going to help set us in good stead, set us up for the future. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying what you're seeing here on the channel. Thanks for watching.